Hi, my name is Ben Eversole, Fleet Manager for Sally Horse Vans, and today we're going to talk about purchasing a trailer and trailer maintenance. Alright, in talking about the hitch and the receiver, at this point that is critical in the safe operation of this equipment. First thing you want to check is make sure that your ball is the proper size. On the receiver and the ball, they're both identified with what the measurements are, be it a 2 5/16, 2 5/8, 2 3/4. Make sure you've got the correct size ball. Secondly is our safety chains. Make sure they're properly secured to the hitch of the bumper of the truck. Make sure they're not dragging on the ground. Okay, these chains are in good shape. They've got a little bit of surface rust on them, but that's common and it's not anything to be worried about. Our jack is properly secured in the stowed position. Not loose flopping around. It's going to hang up, catch on the ground if we come into a curb or a railroad track or anything like that. The next item that we want to address is our electrical. This is an electrical cable coming from the truck to the trailer, and what it does is sends all of our electrical signals for our lights and our braking system. This is a critical component that we need to make sure is in safe working condition. Visually inspect the cable, make sure it's not drug on the ground, there's no nicks or cuts or anything that's going to affect the safe operation of the equipment. If there is damage to this cable, that is something that you will want to get addressed immediately. The next safety item we're going to discuss is our tire and wheel end positions. First thing you want to check is your air pressure. Tire air pressure is critical to the safety and proper maintenance of a tire. A tire that's overinflated or underinflated, you will drastically reduce the life of that tire. And it will become a safety issue. When you're looking at your tire, make sure you've got good tread depth, and you don't need a tread gauge to do that. Just kind of stick your fingers in there. If you feel like you got good tread on there, you're in good shape. Check the sidewall, make sure there's no abrasions or cuts, anything that's going to cause you to have a flat on the road. This tire's in good shape. Make sure we check our tire pressure. Okay, most tires should operate between 35 and 45 to 50 pounds of air. There will be a designation on the tire itself telling you what proper inflation should be. Okay. This particular trailer has a decorative hubcap on there, and what it does is it protects that inner hubcap. Make sure that there's no indications, any grease leaking, any looseness, anything that just looks abnormal. You don't have to be a mechanic, but you have to be able to identify. So identify there's an issue and call your local shop. Same rules apply on our spare tire. We want to make sure we've got good tread, we don't have any damaged sidewall, wheels in good condition, and properly inflated. It doesn't do you a whole lot of good to have a flat spare tire. When we check our lighting system, we turn our lights on at the truck, we turn our four-ways on. That allows us to know if our marker lights and our brake and turn signal lights are working. Get out of the truck, walk around, visually inspect for any lights that are not working. If there's any lights that are not functioning properly, we need to get those addressed prior to hitting the road. When talking about the floor, there are a couple things that we need to take into consideration. First thing is if the floor is aluminum or if it's wood. If you've got a trailer that's built in the last 10 years, chances are you've got an aluminum floor. Aluminum will not rust, which is a nice thing about it. Unfortunately, it's not as structurally sound as steel. So if you do have an aluminum floor, the first thing we need to do is we need to get in and walk the trailer. Just feel for any inconsistencies in the floor, any popping, any looseness, anything that just doesn't feel right. And that can be an indication of where the floor has separated from the cross members of the trailer. If you do find that, that's something you definitely need to get taken care of. And what that does, that's going to compromise the structural integrity of your trailer. This particular trailer has a wood floor, and what it is, it's a 2x6 or a 2x8 treated pine. Again, we're going to walk the floor to feel for any looseness or any loose boards. These particular boards are screwed to the cross members, so it is possible for a screw to break, which will give you a loose board feeling. That's something we need to address. A lot of times it can spook a horse when you get the banging, things like that. Typically your boards are going to rot around the edges of your trailer, around the seams. Where there's a rubber, where the rubber meets the wall, you get some moisture, some urine, things like that. We've talked a lot today about safety items when driving or purchasing a new trailer. One thing to remember is you don't have to be a mechanic. All you have to be able to do is identify that there is an unsafe item. The most important thing that you can do before you leave is make sure that you're in a safe piece of equipment and it's going to operate and get you from point A to point B.